Picture this, a young phenom and a 7-year veteran. One's breaking records left and right, the other's finally seeing her team rise from the ashes. Now, imagine them on the same team, in the same game, making history. That's exactly what happened when Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell faced the Dallas Wings on September 15th. And what's even more amazing, their partnership isn't just changing their careers, it's transforming the entire Indiana Fever franchise and the WNBA as a whole. Want to know how? Let's break it down. Remember when the Indiana Fever couldn't catch a break? Well, let's talk about Kelsey Mitchell's wild ride. For 7 long years, Mitchell has been the heart and soul of the Fever. She's seen it all. The crushing losses, the empty seats, the frustration of missing the playoffs year after year. But something's different this season. There's a new kid on the block, and she's turning heads. Mitchell's always been a scoring machine, but now, she's playing like she's got superpowers. Last season she's averaged a career-high 19.2 points per game. That's not just good, it's record-breaking. Mitchell has shattered her own Fever record for most points in a single season, racking up an incredible 767 points. But here's where it gets interesting. Enter Caitlin Clark. The rookie sensation changed everything for the team. Since Clark joined the Fever, Mitchell's game has gone into overdrive. After the Olympic break, Mitchell's been on fire, averaging a jaw-dropping 24.8 points per game, good for second in the league. That's not just good, that's elite. And she became third in the league in field goal percentage for players taking at least 15 shots a game, hitting 46.7% of her field goals last season. So, how did Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell become the WNBA's hottest duo overnight? It's all about chemistry. Mitchell herself put it best, "I just think that our pace alone is catching opponents off guard. A lot of people want to play fast, and with a young point guard, I get the best of both worlds. The veteran and the freshman are reading each other like a book, creating a partnership that's leaving defenses scrambling. Balance both, doing what you do and making sure she does what she does to make sure you guys keep rolling." I just think it's based on a read because it's like, wow, I think that me and C-Square try to do a great job of just kind of piggyback our games off one another, and I think it's based on how teams play us. Now picture this, Mitchell and Clark, side by side, ready to take on the Dallas Wings for their last home game of the 2024 season. On September 15th, they put on a show for the ages. Mitchell dropped 30 points, while Clark exploded for a career-high 35. Together, they combined for a staggering 65 points. That's not just a game, that's a statement. Just really proud of these players for what they've done, the work they've put in, the resiliency they've shown. It's just, to get that number, and, again, with Kelsey Mitchell, who's, never experienced that, it's just really awesome. But it's not just about the numbers, it's about the confidence, the trust, the mutual respect. Mitchell's words say it all. If Dallas thinks they're going to choose one, we both just have a chance to get what's ours. That's not just teammate talk, that's a warning to the rest of the league. But how special was that night really? And how did it break the WNBA? Just when you thought you'd seen it all, Caitlin Clark decided to rewrite the WNBA record books. Picture this. September 15, 2024. The Indiana Fever take on the Dallas Wings. The crowd's buzzing with anticipation, but little do they know they're about to witness history in the making. Clark steps onto the court, and the energy shifts. But hold on, because this story's got a twist. The first quarter ends, and Clark's only got 4 points to her name. Is this going to be a quiet night for the star point guard? But now rookie sensations turn Caitlin Clark, ready to put on a show. Her 3-point jump shot is good, and the Fever inching on closer in this one. Well, guess who? Well, Clark again. You guessed that she makes a 3-point jump shot from 27 feet out. So now pull within 5, and Clark just continuing to be in positions where she excels. The Fever still trailing, but finding a little bit of rhythm here in the second quarter. Not a chance. Something clicks, and Clark explodes into action. It's like watching a video game character with cheat codes enabled. She's draining threes, threading impossible passes, and leaving defenders in her wake. The scoreboard operator is working overtime, and the statisticians are scrambling to keep up. By the final buzzer, Clark's put up a mind-bending 35 points. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. With those points, she shatters the WNBA's single-season rookie scoring record. The previous mark, 744 points, held by the legendary Simone Augustus. Clark blows past it like it's nothing, and as if the crowd wasn't already electrified for the home finale, Clark nails this clutch three-pointer, and Indiana is walking away with a thrilling 110-109 victory tonight, with Clark finishing the game with 35 points. But wait, There's more. Clark's not just a scoring machine. She dishes out 8 assists, proving she's as much of a playmaker as she is a scorer. It's this dual threat capability that's making her a nightmare for opposing teams. And those three-pointers, Clark knocks down 6 of them on 14 attempts. Here's where it gets really interesting. Clark and Mitchell combined for 12 of Indiana's 16 three-pointers. That's right. This dynamic duo is responsible for 75% of their team's long-range bomb. The Fever as a whole, they're not just winning, they're rewriting their own history. They match their franchise record for single-game scoring and tie their season high for three-pointers made. It's like the entire team caught whatever Clark's got. But let's zoom in on those clutch moments. When the game's on the line, Clark steps up. She nails back-to-back three-pointers late in the game, helping the Fever maintain their lead. It's the kind of performance that separates the good from the great. And speaking of legends, even King James himself takes notice. LeBron James gives a shout-out to Clark and Mitchell on social media, calling them a dynamic duo. When you've got the NBA's all-time leading scorer tipping his hat to you, you know you're doing something right. Think the Olympic break is just a chance to catch your breath, not for Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark. These two turned it into a launching pad, and now they're soaring to new heights. As the WNBA season kicked back into gear, all eyes were on who'd come out of the gates strong. But nobody could have predicted the storm that was about to hit. Suddenly, Mitchell and Clark were everywhere, topping scoring charts, dominating highlight reels, leaving defenders in the dust. It's like they went into some secret basketball lab during the break and came out as superpowered versions of themselves. And the numbers, they're mind-blowing. Let's break it down. Since the Olympic pause, Mitchell's been putting up a jaw-dropping 24.8 points per game. That's not just good, that's elite. It's got her sitting pretty as the second highest scorer in the entire league during this stretch. And Clark, she's right on Mitchell's heels, averaging 24.3 points, third in the league, folks. Third. We're not just talking about a dynamic duo here. We're talking about a 1-2 punch that's knocking the rest of the WNBA off its feet. But hold on, because it gets even better. Mitchell's been a model of consistency, dropping 20 or more points in all but one game since the break. And Clark, she's not just scoring, she's making history. She blew past the single-season rookie scoring record and the single-season all-time assist record. Clark didn't just break it, she shattered it. It has been a historic year for the WNBA. You know the Drake line, I'm the rookie in the bet. Let's start with the rookie, Caitlin Clark-Kent. Superwoman, you see what I did there? She was on a tear. And get this. Since the All-Star break, the Indiana Fever have been the hottest team in the WNBA, putting up a blistering 90.9 points per game. You think that's a coincidence? Not a chance. Mitchell and Clark aren't just securing their own stats. They're elevating the entire team. Other teams are scrambling. How do you stop not one but two players who are on absolute fire? Double-team Mitchell, Clark burns you. Focus on Clark, Mitchell makes you pay. It's a nightmare for opposing coaches and a dream for Fever fans. But don't just take my word for it. Listen to what Fever coach Christy Sides had to say. They're special. I mean, those two right there can hit such big shots. There's just ice in their veins, and they've got players around them who are helping them get open, setting good screens, and then moving the defense as well. Kelsey is, with her ability to get downhill, you have to guard her a certain way. Then she can just pull up on a dime. Caitlin's able to, get her shot off so quick, and also get downhill and get to the rim. Those guys just make big shots. They are just two, the dynamic duo. That's who they are. Ice in their veins, indeed. When the pressure's on, these two don't just perform, they thrive. Ice in their veins is one thing. But what happens when that ice melts into pure fire? Mitchell and Clark aren't just thriving under pressure. They're creating a perfect storm on the court that's leaving defenses in shambles. But how exactly do their individual styles mesh to form this unstoppable force? Let's break it down. You've got Kelsey Mitchell, the seasoned pro with lightning-quick agility and a deadly pull-up jumper. Then there's Caitlin Clark, the phenom with court vision that seems almost superhuman. On paper, you might think it'd take time for these two to click. But here's where it gets interesting. They're defying basketball logic and getting the recognition that you deserve, but maybe weren't necessarily getting before. Now, that's a great question. I think the reality of it is that I think people would have known without C-squared. So shout out to Caitlin. That's just reality. I think she's done an unbelievable job of bringing, obviously her own fans and people that support her. But, for me, I kind of laugh at it and I embrace it at the same time because I've always kind of flew under the radar. I've always kind of been that person, that player, very conservative. I'm very an introvert, so now I get to see the flip side of it, and it's kind of funny. I can laugh about it because I know it's come from a genuine place, but I embrace it from a standpoint of like people not, guaranteed to see me play, and now that they do, I just hope I do right by it. Picture this: Mitchell's blazing down the court, her defenders struggling to keep up. In a blink, Clark's already spotted the opportunity. The ball whizzes through the air, finding Mitchell in perfect stride. It's like they've got some kind of telepathic connection. But it's not magic. It's the result of two incredibly skilled players whose abilities perfectly complement each other. Clark's ability to read the court isn't just good. It's game-changing. She's not just seeing what's happening now, she's anticipating 3 moves ahead. And Mitchell, her agility isn't just about speed. It's about creating space where there shouldn't be any. When you combine Clark's vision with Mitchell's movement, you get an offensive partnership that's giving defenders nightmares. But here's the kicker. It's not just about their individual skills, it's about how they make each other better. Clark's presence on the court opens up new opportunities for Mitchell. Defenders can't focus solely on Mitchell anymore, not with Clark's threat from deep range. And when Mitchell's weaving through traffic, drawing attention, it creates those pockets of space that Clark exploits with surgical precision. Are you ready for the secret sauce that makes this duo truly special? It's their chemistry. The trust they've built in such a short time is nothing short of remarkable. Clark doesn't hesitate to make those risky passes because she knows Mitchell will be there. Mitchell doesn't second-guess her cuts because she trusts Clark will find her. But don't just take my word for it. Listen to what Clark herself had to say. It's hard to pick and choose when both of us are on. It puts the defense in a really tough spot. That's not just confidence. That's an understanding of how their styles create a perfect storm for opposing teams. And guess what? This dynamic duo isn't just changing the game for themselves. Their synergy is elevating the entire Fever lineup. When defenses scramble to contain Clark and Mitchell, it opens up opportunities for players like Lexi Hull and Aaliyah Boston. Suddenly the whole team is playing with a new level of confidence and freedom. Let's talk about the ripple effect Clark and Mitchell are creating. Picture this: 2 players, not just changing their own games, but revolutionizing an entire franchise. The Indiana Fever, once struggling, are now the hottest team in the WNBA. That's not just a comeback story, that's a basketball renaissance. But here's where it gets really interesting. Clark and Mitchell aren't just lighting up the scoreboard, they're redefining what's possible in the WNBA. Their combined firepower has the league on notice. This isn't just about 2 players finding their groove. It's about the birth of a new era in women's basketball. Every time Clark and Mitchell step on the court, they're not just playing a game, they're making history. So next time you tune into a Fever game, remember, you're witnessing the future of basketball unfolding right before your eyes.